After checking out Cluj-Napoca, we headed out of town for our rendezvous point and to meet our guide who was taking us onwards to Turda. In years gone by, Turda was famed for its salt mines, and the Dacians built a city around this most ancient of industries. It's a small but pretty town with a population of around 60,000 and home to our accommodation for the next couple of days, the aptly named Hunter Prince and Dracula Castle Hotel. There are still some hunting trips arranged around these parts, but we had dreams of a different kind of two-wheeled trip. The following morning, we hooked up with our Enduro guide from visittransylvania.com to take a trip through the mountains. To ride Enduro, you need to make sure you're kitted out properly. For starters, you need a bike. Since we're going mainly off-road, knobby tires and tire pressure are particularly important to help you get over the rougher terrain. For clothing, you can either go for a reinforced safety jacket and leg protectors, or an all-in-one weatherproof suit. This is particularly good at keeping the wind down. Make sure you've got good, hard-wearing gloves, and most importantly, a quality helmet. It's also handy to keep a travel box full of necessities and safety kit, as you'll be traveling in some fairly remote locations. Then, you're ready for the off. We set out riding along the ancient Roman road which runs between Terzi's Gorges and Buru amongst the Carpathian Mountains. The total length of the Carpathians is over 1,500 kilometers, and the mountain chain's width varies between 12 and 500 kilometers. They form a northern semicircle around Transylvania and are separated from the Alps by the Danube. Terzi's Gorge is one of the more important natural reserves of these mountains. This area is well known amongst mountain lovers and is also popular with hikers and climbers. In fact, there are plenty of climbing routes to suit all levels of expertise, but we're holding that back for another trip. Take my money on the Mall Road. I take you there by the barrow load, by the kid shoes. The fauna is pretty amazing. You'll have a chance to see various species of butterflies and plants native to this area. This site has been appreciated ever since the Roman times, an account of the majestic landscape and the complex diversity of the flora and fauna. The gorges themselves are a result of the Hasdate River cutting its way through the limestone rocks of the Colmea Petrodulia Peak. The gorges are spread over 2 kilometers along the river, so you're often crisscrossing over streams and taking bridges over the larger waterways. Riding through this monolithic landscape, the relief of the gorges is impressive, with vertical sides and different rock formations, including caves. Most of these caves are dry and have significant archaeological value, as many stone and bronze tools were discovered here. In the Middle Ages, the local inhabitants took refuge in these caves whenever the Tartars invaded the area.
Take my money in Glastonbury.
This area has a continental climate with hot, dry summers and cold winters. In winter, the temperature can often fall below 0 degrees centigrade, but rarely less than -10. The summer is comfortable with the average temperature being 18 degrees centigrade, that's 64 degrees Fahrenheit. The one thing you'll realize as you're making your way through this part of the world is that how little effect tourism has had in the area, and you wonder how such a rare treat can still exist in populated Europe. In fact, you rarely bump into other tourists, especially in early spring when we were there. You certainly won't feel like you're being herded around with your fellow travelers. After a long day on our bikes and the sun starting to set, it was time to head back. Back at the Hunter Prince and Dracula Castle Hotel, there was still time to do a bit of exploring. The theme is very much based on Vlad the Impaler, also known as Count Dracula, with a mixture of hunting memorabilia and historic armory thrown in for good measure. The restaurant is open from 7:30 to midnight every day. It serves a wide variety of international and Romanian dishes. Around the walls of the restaurant are murals depicting the life and times of Vlad III, a Wallachia prince known as the Impaler for his straightforward and brutal execution of his subjects. Through history, there have been many foreign legends and stories surrounding this ruler, many passing into folklore. However, locally, he is generally well regarded for his moral stance, strict guidance, and protection he afforded them from foreign invasion. The rooms themselves are a medieval fantasy with unusual castle-inspired stonework, traditional furniture, fixtures, and fittings. All mod cons are on offer, including a sauna, which we made good use of after sitting on our bikes all day. The Thrill Seeker's Guide might well be back here, as you can only unlock so much treasure on one trip.